Lysol wipes, toilet paper, firearms. What do these things all have in common? Absolutely nothing, except you can't buy them anymore because you guys bought them all. How's it going, guys? I hope you're having a great quarantine. I'm here locked up in my garage, decided to shoot some videos today. I'm drinking my white girl beer. About to go to bed, but I wanted to record a really quick video for you guys because I know there are a lot of new gun owners out there. I was once a new gun owner, as was everybody else. There are some things you need to know to be safe, but more importantly, there are some things you need to know so everybody around you is safe. Because I don't know if I'm certain I would rather hurt myself than somebody else due to me being negligent with a firearm or reckless. So let me start off by telling you who I am. My name is Brian Winden. I am the owner of ACR Tactical. I'm a firearms instructor and a range safety officer. Let's talk about firearm safety. I want to give you a little tool that I use to help remember these 4 basic rules of firearm safety. But before I do, I want to talk to you about securing your firearms. A lot of people fail to consider this aspect, but it's more important, I think, than any of these other ones because you might know all the safety rules, but the little kid that picks your gun up doesn't know them and doesn't care about them. So, secure your firearms. Buy a safe. They're $40 to $50. I have a bedside safe that's bolted into my nightstand. It cost me literally $50, I think, on Amazon. It's a little keypad thing. I can punch it in the dark. It takes me 2 seconds at the most to get my gun out of it. And I have the peace of mind knowing that my kids aren't going to get into it, even though they're not going to get into any of the guns I have because they're responsible little kids and they've all been around firearms. But they have friends, there's other people in my house. You just don't know. You got to lock them down. It's your responsibility to keep unauthorized people away from these guns. Okay, with securing your firearms out of the way, let's talk about the 4 rules of firearm safety. If you can remember the phrase safety, you can remember these 4 rules. I broke it down into an acronym, SAFT. And I'm going to tell you what that means, and then I'm going to explain what those rules are. SAFT stands for status, aim, finger, target, trajectory. Status means knowing if that firearm is loaded or unloaded. Every firearm you come into contact with, or carry, or hand to someone else, whatever, you need to know the status of that firearm. You need to personally know. You don't take somebody's word for this. So, what does that mean? I want to know, is the firearm loaded? I want to know, is there a round in the chamber? Is there a magazine in the gun? Are there rounds in the magazine? Is there a safety, and is it engaged? That covers everything when it comes to knowing the status of any firearm. You must ensure that you understand the status of the firearm, and if you do not, you must assume that that firearm is loaded and capable of firing. You treat it as such. So aim is our next one. S stands for status, A stands for aim. Aim means you're responsible for the direction that that gun is pointing at all times. To elaborate on that, I'm talking about you never want that firearm pointing anywhere near a body part of your own or any other living creature, person, your dog, whatever. I'm not too worried about you shooting a hole in your car. You'll probably hate yourself for it, but nobody's gonna die as a result. You do not, under any circumstance, let that barrel of your gun, loaded or unloaded, come across another human being. It's a huge no-no. I see it done on accident at the range, where people might be trying to manipulate the gun, and instead of rotating their body to keep the firearm downrange, they actually rotate the gun, and the person next to them, unknowingly, is now having a loaded firearm pointed at them. It's an easy to make mistake, but it's not an acceptable mistake to make. Alright, so that covers A. A stands for aim. F stands for finger. Specifically, your trigger finger. This one is a common pitfall with a lot of new shooters and people that just haven't trained yet. They instinctively, when they pick up a gun, their finger goes right on that trigger. It's kind of something that we've all done, I think, as kids, or maybe you've seen done all the time in movies. It's a horrible habit to be in. It's extremely dangerous. There's multiple reasons why you do not want your finger to rest on the trigger or even inside that trigger guard area. You want it up straight and up on the frame of the firearm. This prevents you from accidentally shooting the gun. Now you might think, well, I know when I'm going to pull the trigger, I have control over that. But if you're in a life or death situation and your adrenaline is surging through your body and you have the extreme fight or flight symptoms going on, and you have your finger on that trigger, but you're not quite ready to shoot because the threat hasn't become a justifiable threat. There have been stories of cops shooting unarmed people in the back that they were holding at gunpoint because they just did not realize how much pressure they were putting on the trigger. The other reason is, should something startle you or you trip or whatever, no kind of flinch, as long as your finger is off that trigger, you're not going to discharge that weapon. So always train to pick up any gun, loaded or unloaded, or while performing any task other than actively engaging a target, keeping your finger up and off the trigger at all times. That's what F stands for. And then T stands for target, but also trajectory. It is your responsibility to properly ID your target. That applies in low light, no light situations. You cannot just shoot at something in the dark because it scared you. You must ID what that threat is. Otherwise, you're going to go to prison. Or worse, you might end up shooting somebody that you love. And then you got to live with that. ID your target and knowing exactly what your target is and whether or not that target needs to be shot. So in training, that's just making sure you're actually hitting your own target or that you're actually shooting at a target at all. In real life, you know, that's a big one. If you've committed to shoot, that target better be deserving a bullet. So the second part of that is trajectory. Trajectory simply means knowing where that bullet is going to travel and where it is going to come to a stop. You're responsible for every round that comes out of your firearm. It is imperative that you understand the path that that bullet is going to take. Should you miss your target, where is it going? If you shoot through your target, what's behind it? I know for a fact that if you have a high-powered rifle and you're using that as your bedside gun, you better know what's in the next couple rooms beyond your room, because if you shoot, that bullet's going all the way through your house. So this is extremely important if you're not the only person living there. I'm sure your kids would appreciate it, as would anybody else in your house. So I'm going to break it down one more time real quick. S, status. Is it loaded? What condition is the firearm in? A, aim. Where is it pointing? It's pointing in a safe direction. That's either at the ground or in the sky or at the berm at a shooting range. That's it. F, finger. Finger stays straight and off of the trigger at all times unless you're actively engaging a target. And then T stands for your target. What is it? Properly identify your target and also understanding the trajectory that that bullet will take. And that sums it up, guys. I will be releasing more training videos in the very near future. This is just to get people rolling on firearm safety. We didn't really cover anything on how to check whether or not a firearm is loaded or not and the proper way to do so. So I'm thinking that'll probably be my next video. But for now, hope you guys stay safe. We're all in this together. I'm doing what I can. Sitting around in my house is driving me absolutely crazy, but we're gonna get through it. Love you guys. Be safe.